Hello everyone, my name is Gina Paulus and I am very excited to welcome you to the Homebodies Fitness Show. Today we are so happy to have Rebecca on as our guest. She will demonstrate a core strengthening workout designed for those who have battled back pain. We will also address flexibility because the more flexible you are, the less likely your back will act up. Later on we will discuss how to try to do the impossible. Please your entire family while trying to cook healthy. I'm sure you have some great ideas for us, right? Because your whole family is always entirely pleased with you.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, guys. So Rebecca she started training with me about 5-6 years ago now.
Yep.
Getting there. There was a little bit of concern with you had back surgery and you were kind of wondering how you would be able to do with some of this.
I was wondering if I could do any of it.
Yeah, so my first kind of project was, okay, let's just see where she's at now, what can we do? We started really, really slow. I mean, really, really basic. But we got to the point where she's now doing some of the most advanced movements that I have any of my clients doing, no matter what their age. So that's something I'm really, really proud of, and I'm happy to be able to show you guys some of those movements today, and you can also give them a shot at home yourself. So the first one is the goblet squat. Goblet squat is one of those with the kettlebell that I was mentioning earlier. So the thing about the goblet squat that I think is really funny is the name of it, right? Because I told one of my clients, I'm like, you like goblets, don't you? And she goes, that's why we're here, isn't it? And I just thought that was hysterical. So goblet squat, you're actually holding this right in front of your chin. So your elbows in here, you want to bend down and then just press. Now you can do this one with a regular dumbbell, but the kettlebell I think is just easier to grip the handles, so it's pretty convenient to use the kettlebells for the goblets. So you can try about 10 of those, Rebecca. Her form is really good. She's keeping her back nice and straight and tall. A lot of people will pitch forward, but she's learned the hard way that pitching forward is not a good idea. Because nobody wants to throw their back out while they're exercising, or pretty much any time. All right, a couple more of those is good. So this one's really good for your core strength, for your legs and for your glutes. And I mean, all of those spots are definitely areas people really like to work. So we're going to do the reverse plank next. The regular planks, I think a lot of people at this point are familiar with those. You're like this. So the reverse plank, you're actually flipped the other way. So what you want to do is fingers point back and lift your hips up, lift your head, and you just hold that position just like that. Let's see Rebecca give that one a shot. This is a relatively new one that we've added in to her routine, so she's not quite as used to it. But we'll try to hold for about 10 seconds, and you can let your chin dip back just a little bit more. Nice work. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you can come down. So did you see my Facebook post about the plank world record?
Yeah.
It was like 4 hours.
I'm like, really?
26 minutes, somebody held the plank. I'm just like, what do you even do during that? Like, I would want a couple movies, some snacks. I mean, a bathroom break would be good, right?
It's a long time.
It is a long time. So that one is really good for your low back, for your stomach, and for your arms. I'm sure you kind of feel it in all those spots. Lateral kettlebell lunge. I'm actually not going to demonstrate this because mine is just really bad, and we don't need to see that. So you know what those are, right?
Mine is so much better.
Step to the side, and you can alternate on this. There you go. And just try to keep your straight leg straighter, I guess, which you would think the name of it, the straight leg, right? So you want to really squeeze that. Good. Perfect. Yeah, I've got some soreness going on in my legs from some crazy thing I did the other day at practice, so this wouldn't be a pretty sight today for me to show you guys this one.
Is it everything you do is crazy?
Yeah. But
just one crazy thing?
Yeah. This one was extra. Like, I'm having trouble walking right now. So. It's a good thing I have a competition this weekend. It's perfect timing.
Oh my gosh.
One more to each side. So this is a lateral lunge. A lot of times people do the lunging all straight, right? So the classic one that you'll see is just stepping forward and this way. So that's great. The only thing is the human body is supposed to move in all planes of motion. And if you think about daily living, you're going to step to the side and bend down and pick something up. You're going to step behind you to get something. So it's good to work and not just straight forward, but you want to work to the left, to the diagonals, to even to the back. So we like to do lunges with all different kind of directionals. This one too gets the inner thighs and the outer thighs.
For sure.
So those areas are a little bit harder to target traditionally. So I really like the lateral kettlebell lunge for that. And so now we're going to get into a little bit more with the upper body. So this one is overhead kettlebell pull. This one is another great core. It's also arm and shoulder. So you're going to start here and then you want to go as fast as you can. Your head follows the kettlebell. Okay. So we'll do about 6 of those on each arm.
I won't hit my basement ceiling.
Yeah, exactly. We're used to working out with this like kind of known basement, so. Nice. Good. How about the kettlebell fall and actually hit your forearm? I know that sounds really comfy, but.
Have it fall.
So when you hold
Keep it closer.
Well, when it's up, it should actually like dangle and like smack you in the forearm. I know that sounds
awesome.
Yeah. So you gotta leave it up there to give it time to smack it. Ooh. Put that right there for you. Okay, that's good. So do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
the second set it hit.
Yeah, exactly. So what was happening with her was when she did it too quickly, the kettlebell never really contacted with her forearm. So you leave it and it will hit there, which, I mean, it's really not like gonna injure you or anything like that. But what it does is it shows you that you're holding that arm up there, the correct position, and also that pause is what you really want, because when the weight is far away from your core, what you're doing is you're making your core have to stabilize because the weight is only on one side. So when you're doing something with dumbbells, you've got one weight here, one weight here, you're pushing, you're all in balance, you've got the 2 weights. So when you've got just one, if you didn't tighten your core, you would actually tip over. Now, I mean, nobody would do that, but like your body kind of naturally does it.
Yeah.
And that's why the kettlebells are really good for the core. So now we're going to do the kettlebell carry. This is kind of a funky one. It's really good for the stabilization in your small muscles in your shoulder, and it's also very good for your grip strength. So we're going to hold the kettlebell kind of upside down like this, and you're just gonna walk. Normally it would be good to walk maybe 20 to 30 feet in one direction. We're just gonna stick to the shorter version here because we're kind of limited with the space. So go ahead and try that, and there's usually one hand that's better balance and the other one is not so much.
Try to guess which hand.
Yeah, usually the one people start with is their good one. And then the second one, not quite so much. You also want to be careful about all the lotioning and creams you apply before you do this one. I've learned that one the hard way, with the kettlebell kind of clumping in the head.
You want me to switch?
You can go ahead and switch. She's pretty good with this one. A lot of people, when they switch hands, their other hand, basically it's the kettlebell's constantly like falling, that like just like that. But it's, you know, it's a struggle, and there's nothing that you're doing wrong. It's just that it takes some practice to get used to doing it with both hands. And then if you ever want to moonlight as a waitress, you can do it.
Definitely don't want to.
That's like in your life plan, right?
Yeah, I already am a waitress. And a taxi driver.
You're just like an unpaid one.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of depressing. All right, we're going to do another upper body here. This is plant schlings with legs on the ball. So getting on the ball is something that you can do basically however it works best for you. I like the kind of climb on method. Not everybody does, but you're trying to roll forward and back, keeping your body pretty flat and straight. So that's really more like what I'd call a moving plank. You're holding the plank, but you're adding a movement challenge to it, because it's not good enough to just do the normal planks, right?
I think it's more fun with the ball.
I do too, and like anything with the ball, it's like you're almost like having fun on it, and you're kind of like not as thinking that you're doing a workout, which is always good.
And moving is nice.
moving is.
Instead of holding it.
Holding it is quite tedious.
Yeah. I like your ball.
Thanks.
It's much prettier than mine.
You have the white one, right?
Yeah, it's not that exciting.
Okay, forward and back. Try to just turn your fingers slightly outward. That makes it easier on your wrist joint. Yep. And lean forward and back. Now, we normally do your plank with your thighs on the ball and not your shins.
Okay.
So as you can feel, it is harder with it on the shins. But you did a great job watching me and trying to copy me, which I really appreciate. I like when people pay attention to what I'm saying. It makes me feel important. Okay, one more time. Good. And you can get off. Awesome. So that one, honestly, it is a lot more difficult than she just made it look. Takes
Lots of muscles.
Many years of building up to try to do that. So we are going to do a little bit with stretching now. Rebecca, I'm going to have you lay on your back. All right, so we're going to have one leg up in the air, and then the other leg, I'm going to loop this around. You can use a towel, or you can use a band like this. You can use whatever basically you can do to loop around your foot, and you're going to let your leg drop over to the left. Good. Now put both ends of the band into one hand, and you can stretch your other arm out to the side. You know what? I'm going to have you switch arms. I didn't tell you which ones to do, and you just did the ones I didn't want. Other way. All right, good. So this one, we're just trying to pull that leg right across. Now this, when people do a lot of sitting, which honestly, who doesn't end up sitting a lot, whether it be in the car or just at home or at work. So this one is really good for helping to open up the hips and minimize some of that sciatic pain that people can get from sitting too much. We were just talking about that a minute ago, like sitting, driving, you know, how many minutes or hours a day are we doing that? So go ahead and switch sides. And this is good too because you can do it on your own. Sometimes when I'm with a client, I will step in here and I will just hold her with my legs, which is fine when I'm there, but when I'm not there, what do you do? So it's a good way to be able to do it yourself with the band. And so a lot of times when you have pain in something like the back, the reason for that is both weakness and stiffness in the muscles above and below the back. Quite often the back itself isn't actually the problem. You can come out of that one, Rebecca. So your hips is one area and then the shoulders are another. So even while we're focusing on a back strengthening workout, it's important to make sure what we're thinking, what is below and what is above that spot. So the next one we're doing is the camel, that kind of kneeling one. Yep. So this one is interesting because there's a lot of different points that you can stop at. Some days me and her do the full camel, other days we do the partial one. Just depending on how she's feeling, and that is the proper way to do the camel, is to kind of modify it. So I'll show you guys first the most basic version, and then we'll look at the more advanced one. And it's funny too because the camel, I'm kind of like a curious person naturally, so I'm thinking, like, why is it called a camel? Like, do you have any idea?
No, I have no idea.
I've been thinking about this. I'm like, what is that connection? I need to figure it out.
Did you find out?
No, I should probably Google that after this. We film this. Okay, so you're gonna start by putting your hands on your low back. Yep, and then you just wanna lean back and tip your chin up. Okay, so she's pushing her hips forward, she's leaning her head back. She's in camel now. So then the only other thing she could try to do, if she feels up to it, is to reach down and grab one of her heels. If she can get it, and then she can get the other one, she can do it. If it's not a no-go today, we should just go back to what we were doing before. Now, you're not doing a full grip, so I'm gonna have you go back into the, if you have to even, that's good, you can actually just go ahead and rest now. So that one you should not hold for more than like 10 to 15 seconds, so that's kind of a shorter one. If you can't get your palm on your heel like completely, don't. It could hurt your back. So you wanna either get that full grip or you just do the other one, and they're both just as effective as long as you stop at the point that you can do. All right, so then after doing that one, it's actually nice to really stretch your back out. So we're gonna try like a child's pose, okay? So this one, you're gonna actually take your knees apart. There's different ways to do it. Today we're gonna try the knee apart kind. You wanna put your head down and put your arms down to the sides. Good. And if it feels better, Rebecca, you definitely can put your knees close. I don't really care which one you want to do. This one's called Child's Pose, and I don't really understand that either, because when do children do this? Wouldn't it be great if you could get them to do this, like, ever? So they were actually still?
Never happens.
No. Okay, and you can come up. So you can see her hips aren't on her heels. Do you think that's because your knees or more because of your back? What do you think?
Right now I would say it's back tightness.
Okay.
Because I've been able to get lower in it. It just depends on how tight my back is.
Yeah, and I just made her drive about 45 minutes to get here, so it's probably my fault. But I was just wondering about that, because there usually is 2 different reasons why you might not be able to sit on your heels. It's either that your knees, well, it could be your knees, your ankles, or your back. So it doesn't really matter why you can't. It just matters that you want to go to the edge of it and just don't push or force. None of these stretches you're supposed to be doing that. You can push and force all you want during the workout.
Not during the stretches.
But not during the stretches, because you can hurt yourself that way. So we are going to do a nice kind of more gentler one, the across body shoulder stretch. So I'm actually going to have her try to do this sitting on the ball like this, and she's going to just bring her arm. All right, and I could tell you that there's a special reason that we're sitting on the ball. It's actually that I forgot to pull a chair out, so we're just using the ball for a chair.
I like the ball better.
But you know what? The ball is kind of fun, so that's okay. So for this one, just make sure that this is locked. It actually is good for your core to sit on the ball. Some people will even use it at their desk. You'd probably need a little bit of a larger ball, unless your desk is like infant size.
Really low.
And switch. But yeah, these fitness balls do come in a variety of sizes. They sell them based on height, but it's not really an exact science, because there's different uses for the larger and the smaller ones. In general, the smaller the ball, the harder it is to use. Do you feel that one in the back of the shoulders?
Absolutely.
So this is another example where we're trying to make sure we're working both above and below the spot that the pain can sometimes act up. You can come out of that one. That looked really good. Okay, now we're going to do a standing quad stretch, and once again, this is another point of working above and below. So the quads, meaning these muscles here, get very, very tight, and that kind of pulls on your low back. Your hip flexors and your quadriceps, really your hip flexors, which are attached to your quadriceps, they attach into your low back right around this point, and that's where a lot of people will get some pain. So it's going to be probably difficult for you to do a standing quad stretch like with no post. So I'm going to be your post.
Okay.
You can just grab a hold of my shoulder, and you can bend one leg, and you can pull that, and we want to try to get the knees lined up, and even slightly, the bent knee can be pulled slightly back if that's something that your body can do today. And then just making sure that the knees are in close together is good too. And this one we can hold a little bit longer, usually 20 seconds, and even up to 30 is good for this one. All right, you can try your other leg. Just gonna switch.
I'm coming over here. Switching shoulders.
Yep. And I can't really see what's going on over there, but I trust that your knees are side by side. You would never do that.
I would never.
Especially there's video evidence. And I'm sure your husband will be watching closely.
I'm sure he will.
Hi, David.
Hi, Dave.
Okay. All right, so we pretty much hit everything with that, huh?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Felt really good.
Okay, awesome. She asked me earlier today, she goes, do I get tomorrow off? I'm like, yes, you get tomorrow off.
I don't have to work out tomorrow.
Yeah, because we just worked out yesterday together, and now we're working out again today, so. All right, well, we did receive a Twitter question this week. Today's Twitter question is, how can I juggle pleasing my picky kids while still cooking and eating healthy for myself and my husband? Now, this isn't a question that I naturally can understand because I don't have kids. I mean, I have a cat, but that's pretty easy compared to humans. So,
You can open a can for the cat.
true, although he can be kind of a little diva, but I thought it would be good for us to discuss this. So I was thinking to myself, like, what are the issues? And I mean, the ones that come to mind from my standpoint, you've got shopping, you've got meal prep,
Yep.
snacks, and then restaurant or takeout food.
Oh, yep.
All things that could
Yep.
potentially be
Disastrous.
disastrous is a good adjective for that. So let's start with the shopping piece. What are your strategies? Please help us to understand how you do it.
Well, I don't buy the same snacks for me as I buy for my kids.
Okay.
Because they'll eat granola bars and cereal bars, and I tend not to eat those things. So I try to buy snacks for them and snacks for myself. So my snacks tend to be like string cheese or yogurt, Greek yogurt, or fruit. And I try to get them to eat fruit too. If I can buy a giant box of strawberries and cut them all up, they will nibble on those more easily than if they're ready. So I think prep is part of that too.
Exactly.
Having it ready, having things that if they open the fridge, they can see they can just grab and not have to do anything themselves.
Gotcha. And then as far as like meal preparation, do you have ways of kind of making everybody relatively happy?
Yeah, lately we've fallen into a good routine. I always make a carb for the kids because they always need rice or potatoes or something, but I tend to try not to eat that.
How old are your children?
My children are 12 and 16. And they're not as picky as they used to be, so I'm lucky that way.
Yeah.
So they'll pretty much eat any protein that I prepare. Grilled chicken.
And they like steak.
They do. They're big meat eaters. Yeah, but anything that's cooked on the grill makes them happy. So I tend to marinate whatever I cook, and that makes them happy. Everybody likes that. And then I always have a giant 5-pound bag of frozen broccoli in my freezer from Costco because everybody will eat broccoli.
So keeping it simple, like going with what works.
I really, it's very different than if I was just cooking for me and my husband, but we also have time constraints, and so time plus picky means keep it simple.
Keep it simple, right? So the snacks, we already covered that in some ways, but I was wondering, do you have any particular tips on trying to keep away from you picking and getting into the kids' snacks?
I'm not sure.
Because they always say like, keep your house, clean. It's like, honestly,
it's impossible.
like even with me, my husband has like garbage on every shelf. Like it's there.
It's tempting. There's no doubt about it.
So, I mean, do you have anything that has worked for you?
Well, my kids will have popcorn and Doritos in the house, and other than using willpower, which could be a little bit of a challenge, I try to have something else that like meets that need that's better for me. So I have like, if I need a bar, I'll eat like a kashi bar instead of eating like, so it gives me a little crunch and a little sweet without eating, a bag of Doritos.
So like a substitute.
Yeah.
That's somewhat like...
not horrible for you.
Yeah, that sounds like a good strategy. So then as far as restaurants go, are there just certain ones that you feel like you can get what you want for everybody?
We tend to do takeout at least once a week on the weekends because I get tired of cooking and cleaning. And if we order takeout and then the kids get pizza or pasta, I'll get like a salad with grilled chicken, which still might not be great because it has feta cheese on it, but at least it's a salad with grilled chicken and not like, a steak bomb.
A steak bomb.
For example,
with
probably
like
not be the best choice.
A Slurpee on the side. Well, and the feta cheese is actually one of the leaner ones. If you look at the full fat cheeses, more protein.
Yay.
So exactly, it's just the portions like a serving is like embarrassingly small, right?
Yeah.
But then like you go to the place and there's like a mound.
Plus they give you like way more chicken than you really need.
Right.
So I tend to kind of...
There's like an entire bird.
Yeah. Clucking. So yeah, I try to like just take half the chicken and save it for another salad.
That's very smart.
Then it's chicken I don't have to cook.
Oh, exactly. That's awesome. And one of the things I've tried to do with the salads, when the portions are absurd, like before I start eating it, I literally like move part of the food to the side and I'm like, I'm not eating that, this is my portion.
Yep.
Because it's hard once you start eating to like gauge it. You're like, I need to just finish this. But I think if you take a moment ahead of time to kind of set it aside, it like, I don't know.
It does.
It's
not there for you anymore.
I think removing decisions is like key. Because let's face it, we just all have so many decisions to make every day that the more decisions you have to make properly, it's a little bit more challenging. So is there anything else as far as like the cooking for the kids and family, like even your husband? Do you and him tend to eat pretty similar?
We do, and he always helps me with cooking, which is really handy.
Nice.
Yeah, he's good. Or if I cook, he cleans. But he's like a little more OCD about his food than I am, which is good because then it keeps me focused on eating healthy also. So we try to make good choices together, and I try to get input from the family, like what do you guys want this week for dinner, so that I know that everyone's on board, which helps a lot. Because then they'll eat what's prepared because they asked for it. So that's handy.
That's great. No, I really think, You approach running your household like a business, kind of, like very systematically, methodical. I know it's not always perfect, but you at least have the intention of like being organized, and it really does. Because I think people's biggest problem, they know what to do, but they just get overwhelmed.
It can be very overwhelming.
And it's like day after day after day, you have to do it, and that's what's hard about it. So I think having kind of like a plan.
Yeah, every mother I know says the bane of their existence is what to make for dinner, and having to figure that out. Every single one complains.
Yeah, that's like there must be like a blog or something.
I'm sure there's many of them.
But it was time to read them, right?
Yeah, nobody.
All right, guys, well, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.